Welcome to The Explainer. Today we're diving into one of the most wild paradoxes of the human condition. Look around. We literally live in a world that looks like a modern reconstruction of the first garden. It's a landscape of glass and steel where the gold of the land is good and every single luxury is right at our fingertips. Think about it. In a nation of over 340 million people, with a per capita income ranking among the highest in human history, our outward appearance is just absolute triumph. We've built these cities of renown and towers that reach the heavens just to make a name for ourselves. But here's the catch. Beneath all that shiny surface, there's this recurring pattern of promises made and promises broken. So why does living in a golden cage, where we seemingly have everything, leave so many of us feeling completely empty inside?
What's really interesting about this slide is how it perfectly captures our central mystery. He went away sad because he had great wealth. This is from an ancient text about a guy who, by all accounts, had won the lottery of life. He had the money, the status, the perfect outward behavior. But when confronted with the actual truth of his own soul, he didn't walk away joyful. No, he went away deeply sad, and specifically because he had great wealth. It tells us something huge about our modern hustle. Having absolutely everything the world offers often leaves us feeling, well, completely empty.
Section 1. The gold is good. To really understand this paradox, we actually have to go all the way back to the very beginning.
Right at the dawn of existence, in the Garden of Eden, we see something super fascinating. The ancient scriptures tell us that the river Pishon flows around a land where there is gold, and they explicitly point out the gold of that land is good. So right from the jump, wealth, abundance, and beauty, they weren't inherently bad. They were just part of a flawless landscape, kind of like the high-class luxuries we chase today, designed by a creator who looked at everything he made and called it very good.
Okay, let's dive into this timeline because it brilliantly illustrates exactly where things went off the rails. Humanity started in absolute innocence, literally naked and unashamed. But then came the temptation. The text specifically notes that humanity saw the forbidden fruit was pleasing to the eye, and pursuing that superficial outward pleasure led straight to a shattered promise. The consequence? For the very first time, humanity hid from its creator in fear. That is the exact moment the sweat of the face began. Now, originally, that's what was just for survival. But today, man, that sweat is often poured out merely for the maintenance of an image that is increasingly hollow. Section 2. The trap of great wealth. Let's look at how this culture of abundance traps us in a golden cage.
Look at this profound, heartbreaking question: what do I still lack? This was asked by the rich young ruler, a man who had perfectly kept all the religious and societal rules of his day. He was living in a literal golden cage with immense wealth and full storehouses beyond measure, yet he still felt this severe famine in his heart. It's the ultimate paradox of our modern American experience, really. We are a nation that is fruitful and increasing in number, but so many people are escaping into reckless drinking and hoarding treasures on earth just to numb that agonizing emptiness. So the young ruler brings all his earthly attainments to the table, proudly declaring, "All these I have kept." But the spiritual requirement Jesus presented to him was just radical. Sell your possessions and give to the poor. You see, it wasn't actually about the money itself. It was about what the money had done to his heart.
And that interaction led to this legendary ancient warning. Jesus pointed out that the deceitfulness of wealth acts as this massive, almost insurmountable barrier to true peace. In our culture today, a high-class existence often acts like a whitewashed tomb, right? It appears beautiful, polished, and totally successful on the outside, but inside it's hiding a cry of despair that absolutely no bank account can silence.
Section 3. Lost in the wilderness. Now I want to shift our focus a bit because the despair hidden behind a perfect life takes a huge emotional toll.
Take Hagar, for example. She was a servant, cast out into the wilderness, feeling entirely invisible. She was wandering in the desert with nothing but an empty skin of water. The visceral despair was so deep, so crushing, that she literally placed her little boy under a bush and walked away, just so she wouldn't have to watch him die. And honestly, in our modern cities, surrounded by immense wealth, millions of people are living exactly like Hagar. They are holding an empty skin of water in their souls, feeling unloved, and searching anxiously for belonging in a society that only ever values the outside of the cup.
But here is the magnificent turning point in Hagar's story. Right in the midst of her total isolation, the angel of the Lord finds her. She isn't invisible anymore, and she gives God a name, El Roi, which translates to the God who sees me. It is this beautiful proof that even in our darkest wilderness, the invisible are absolutely seen and the cries of the desperate are heard.
Section 4, Treasures in Heaven. So what's the solution to this golden cage? Let's look at the king who offered a different way.
And this brilliantly illustrates the triumphant solution taught by the king who deliberately walked away from the kingdoms of the world and their glory. He taught that a human life is worth far more than just food and clothes. He warned us against storing up treasures on earth, where moths and rust destroy and where thieves break in and steal, because a life built on outward abundance is incredibly fragile. Instead, he told us to store up treasures in heaven, which are untouchable, permanent, and cannot be destroyed.
He ushered in this completely upside-down kingdom. Blessed are the poor in spirit. Blessed are those who mourn. Blessed are the humble and gentle. He stood right among the broken and declared them blessed, offering a living water that can satisfy a thirst the world's wine only deepens. He even saw the tiny widow's mite as way more valuable than the massive donations of the rich, proving that true devotion can never be measured by a per capita income. It's measured only by the heart.
The crucial point here is absolutely clear. No one can serve two masters. You cannot serve both God and money. Our hearts only have one throne. We literally cannot serve the exhausting demands of maintaining a hollow, high-class image while simultaneously resting in the peace of God.
Section 5, the God who sees you. As we bring this all together, I want to connect these ancient texts directly to your heart today.
If you are one of the millions feeling lost or unloved in this land of plenty, please listen to this voice crying in the wilderness. Jesus said, "Come to me, all you are weary and carrying heavy burdens, and I will give you rest." It's an open, empathetic invitation to anyone being crushed by the weight of performance. You can lay down those heavy burdens and find a rest that wealth could never, ever buy. The light has dawned. Your cry from the ground is heard by the one who sees the invisible. You don't have to stay stuck in this reckless cycle. The story of the shattered promise does not have to be your end. Step out of the shadows of performance and step into a grace that literally conquered death itself. So I want to leave you with this provocative question. Where is your treasure stored right now? Is it locked away in the golden cage of earthly approval, or is it secure in the hands of the God who sees you? Don't let the deceitfulness of wealth keep you from the exact life you were created for. If this explainer resonated with you, please hit that like button to help others see through the high-class mask of our culture. Share it to spread a message of true hope, and make sure to subscribe as we continue to explore the timeless truths that can set every captive free.